Hi, I'm Jeff Stelling, and this is football's greatest Euros. Paul Merson is alongside me, and each week we'll be discussing the games and the goals and the headlines from the tournament. Coming up, we'll be discussing England's Euros final against Spain. But who should start, and where are the key battles? We'll also discuss if Harry Kane really is England's greatest ever player, and whether Gareth Southgate is now an elite manager. Welcome to football's greatest Euros. So, Merse, great to be back in this country after 22 days in Germany. I came back, by the way, with the world's favourite airline. You know what they served in business class as their only meal option?
No.
Smoked carrot. I mean, do I look like Bugs Bunny? Don't answer that question.
Smoked carrot? I've never even heard of it.
No, the fellow next to me thought they said smoked haddock. And she said no.
Which is understandable.
Smoked carrot. Anyway, it took a lot to dampen our spirits because of what had happened in the England semi-final. And what an amazing conclusion to the game. Ollie Watkins on the pitch for Harry Kane and Palmer on as well for Foden. I mean, they must be amongst the most significant substitutions in the history of football.
Yeah, you get them, didn't you? You can go back, but it was amazing. It was amazing because at the time when he made the substitutions, I thought, wow, taking Harry Kane off, fair play to you. And then he hasn't put Tony on when Tony done well in the last game. Put Watkins on. But when he took Foden off, I thought Bellingham was out on his feet. I thought he was. But as Foden went off, Bellingham sort of gets some energy from somewhere. But yeah, amazing. The goal is just mind-blowing. Honestly, if Messi scored that goal, we'd be going mad about it. We'd be waxing lyric.
Where would it stand in your sort of top 5 goals of the tournament? It'd definitely be in there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because of the magnitude of the game and what minute it was in, so it makes it even bigger, you know. So you'd have to say, yeah. I mean, the goal of the tournament for me, or one of them, has got to be the Spain second goal. You know, people going about Yamal's goal, and it was a great goal for a 16-year-old, amazing.
It was a wonderful goal.
It was a wonderful goal. But you'll see that in a pub Sunday morning. It will happen on a Sunday morning in pub football. It will. People will bend.
Where do you watch your Sunday morning football?
Honestly, people will bend that in. There would be players who can bend that in. No one can do what Alamar done with his one when he touches it again and scores. If they'd done that on a Sunday morning, they wouldn't be playing on a Sunday morning. You know, that's where the difference is. That goal was mind-blowing at the highest level.
I think Bellingham's goal's got to be in the top 5 as well, hasn't it? The overhead kick has got to be in the top 5.
I mean, he starts thinking, is it written for us? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, last-minute goals, we're out and then score again. You know, have a great penalty shootout. Everything's going along great. Yeah, I mean, they're all big goals if we go on and win it. If we don't go on and win it, we'll never, ever remember them goals. Never.
Ollie Watkins will never forget his goal, of course. And it's interesting that he was a late developer, wasn't he? He's come through the system. His debut in the EFL was at Hartlepool, where he came on after 77 minutes. They were winning 2-0. Exeter were winning 2-0 at the time. Familiar situation. If you're a Hartlepool fan, you'll know. But it's interesting to see how many late developing players come through. We talk about Yamal being 16, but there are plenty who were at 16, like Ollie Watkins, probably wasn't even thinking about a career in football.
No, I have a saying. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're good enough, you'll get found. You'll get found, and you will. You will. You know, you've got to have faith, and you've got to keep on. You know, the players that are not in academies and they're not at the clubs, they've got to show some dedication, but they've got to believe and keep that faith. And I think that's a prime example. Again, we've had the Vardys, your Ian Wrights. You know, now you see it with Watkins. It's another one. I think it keeps these players that have not got into academies yet, or 16 or 17, who are probably playing for clubs that, you know, are not high profile, keep on going. You just need that break. Do you know what I mean? You just need that break. It happens, Jeff. But it's easy for players to get discarded and go, you know what, I'll jack it. The ones who stick at it, you never know. And Watkins is a prime example of that.
Did you think he was good enough to play for England and score that sort of goal?
I think since Unai Emery's has been at Villa, I think that's been the game changer. I don't see him scoring that goal 2 years ago for England. I don't see him scoring that goal at all 2 years ago. You know, what he was before was an unbelievable team player. He was an unbelievable team player who kept on making runs down the channel, never going to score any goals. Great for the team, brilliant for the team, brilliant for centre-halves, takes pressure off. What he does now, he makes his runs. If you watch that run, he's coming from outside to inside. You know, before he was coming, you know, he's outside to in, before he was inside to out. And that's the difference. I think the coach, and I think Emery's got to take a massive advantage, a lot of credit for that, because he's changed his game, and that's where I think the goal comes from.
And I think almost overlooked in this, by the way, is Cole Palmer's part in it. Because when they come off the bench, we heard the story that Ollie Watkins has said to Cole Palmer, "You're going to set me up to score the winner," which is exactly what happened. But it's a forward ball, you know, and we were so short of passes like that during the second half of the game anyway.
Yeah, second half we got suffocated, and I thought we completely and utterly run out of ideas. Cole Palmer comes on, he gets on the half turn, he plays it quickly. He doesn't take 4, 5, 6 touches, plays the ball, but the run makes it. And then the weight of pass, everything's got to be right. You know, people will look at Cole Palmer's pass and go, "I could have passed that." Yeah, you might be able to pass it, but the weight's got to be perfect. If the weight's not right, then his touch can't be as good as what it is. So, yeah, amazing by both players. But the finish, people go, "Oh, the goalie." As soon as it goes, the goalie's not in a million years think he's going to shoot. The defender really don't think he's going to shoot. He hasn't done anything wrong, the defender. You know, he's took him wide. And, yeah, I just can't talk highly enough. Everything's right. He won't hit another one like that.
So does Ollie Watkins start in the final?
He might be lucky if he gets on. He might. And I say that because who would have thought Tony wouldn't have got on before Ollie Watkins the other day? You know, Watkins plays, I think, first game or the second game, comes on as sub. We don't see him again. You know, and then Tony comes on. He takes a penalty in one of the games. Amazing. Game before that, he sets up the winning goal. You know, all of a sudden, Gareth could have easily gone with Tony. So, no, Harry Kane starts. You know, you put your best team out, you know, but this is the big advantage with England. We make substitutions and, you know, we don't weaken the team. Or if we do weaken it, it ain't by much.
So what will Gareth's team be?
I would personally go back to a 4 for this game. I think the way Spain play, it's perfect the way Spain play for Spain against England. You know, because they keep Yamal and Williams out wide and high up, and they keep Morata up there as well, and Morata can drop off. It kills a free at the back. When you play like that and with them wingers, it's all right with Kyle Walker, because Kyle Walker would be happy to go out and pick up Nico Williams because he's an out-and-out fullback. But Gay won't want to go out there. And if Gay has to go out there, then all of a sudden they're the best team without the ball, Spain. Runners off the ball, they've been outstanding. They were brilliant against France in the first half, and they will destroy England. I would go back 4 of Stones and Gay. I go Walker and Shaw, and I go to Walker and Shaw, pick up their biggest threats, which has been Williams and been Yamal, and stop them. I don't think Morata's a threat against the 2 centre-halves. We don't need 3. Then we've got, when they do have that movement, and we fell asleep a couple of times, Jeff. When we fell asleep at 1-0 against Holland, they were in, and Mainu was unbelievable. We see the danger at a young age. If he doesn't stop there, they got an overload on the left and they go 2-0 up, and then it's good night, Nurse, in my opinion. So for me, I go back to a 4 at the back, in my opinion.
He's going to play Trippier, isn't he, though, rather than Shaw? Because he always plays Kieran Trippier.
If he goes with a 4, he might be all right with Trippier playing there, because he'd play at left back as a right-footed defender. Yamal wants to come on inside on his left foot. So what happens there, he will always come onto Trippier's stronger foot. So that might work as an advantage. But if we're playing 3 at the back, he has to play Shaw. I mean, I don't know if you remember, there was a phase in the game that Saka gets the ball on the right and he does a great bit of skill and he runs across the pitch and he's just waiting for Trippier to put him in, and he's nowhere near to be seen, and Saka has to turn around and play back out again. So if we play 3 at the back, Shaw. If we play 4 at the back, I think Trippier, because Trippier is perfect for Yamal, will come onto Trippier's stronger foot. He won't take him on the outside because he can't kick with his right foot. It's an advantage if he doesn't change the team, because it's just got to tick over. But if he wants to go back to a 4, it isn't much time, because they got to work over the next 3 or 4 days. When I was bullish was when we had that week break. When we had that week, I said we definitely win the next game. We got a week. You go to a tournament, you go something like Tuesday, Sunday, Thursday, 3 games in a quick space. Then we had that week break. We've had that now. He's worked on the back 3. We did all right in that game. We won. But the second game, the one we won on penalties, all right. I thought the other night, first half, we were amazing.
Yeah.
I thought we were different class. My worry was when they went, here we go, shut shop, we were clueless. We didn't have, and I don't mean that horribly, we didn't have a clue. Big advantage, Spain won't do that. Spain will let us play. And that's why I think we're looking at an unbelievable football match this Sunday.
Yeah, a nice bit of revenge, wasn't it, from an England perspective, because you were around in the 90s. And we all remember it, as not qualifying for the 1994 World Cup. We all remember Ronald Koeman's part, although he probably didn't do anything that any other player, wouldn't have done.
No, he done what he should have done, but the consequences should have been different when he done it. Simple as that. I played in that game. It was a sending off. It's a stonewall sending off. The ref clueless, absolutely clueless. Yeah, and especially when he goes and scores at the other end. I mean, I think the free kick hit the post inside of the post that night, and it come out. His one was an amazing free kick. I watched it the other night. His free kick. I don't know how he scores. I mean, it's amazing how he gets it up and down that quickly, But yeah, he done with the right thing, because Platty would have scored. Platty was a good finisher, but his consequences, he should have been sent off. There's no doubt.
So when you were watching the game against the Dutch in the semi-final and seeing Ronald Koeman, and we know we've had him in England, did you think this is a bit of payback? Because, he denied you the chance to go to the World Cup in the States.
100%. 100%. I was good. I thought it was a stonewall penalty. I don't know what everybody was watching. I was sitting there with Kate and Freddie, and I went, penalty. And then all of a sudden, it sort of drifted away, and I thought, have I missed a trick here? And then all of a sudden, they went penalty check. It was like stonewall. It's like anywhere else on the football pitch, it's a penalty. It's a free kick. So, because it's in the box, it's a different, it's a different area. It wasn't reckless at the highest level, but he's come out with his foot. And I mean, we see look at the penalty at the end of our season, Wolves against Man City, when the lad comes at the far post. I mean, if you're giving a penalty for that, this was 100% penalty. And to be fair to Dumfries, he didn't moan. He didn't go mad. He took it. All right, he took it, but didn't go mad. Stonewall penalty. But yeah, I was, 100%.
You cheering extra loud because it was Koeman, though.
Yeah, why not? He deprived me. I could have gone to the World Cup. Unfortunately, I went the next year, but, 94 was a good World Cup. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, good.
Sometimes things happen like that. It's a bit of karma, isn't it? I remember that in the National League, not many people remember this, by the way, we lost 6-0 at home to Torquay United, live on TV. And then we played them in the playoff final and we beat them on penalties, So
that's fair play to the players.
It was a lovely moment.
That's fair play to them, because when you've been beaten 6-0 to
at
turn
home.
up, and
by the way, we were, as they say, we were looking to get nil, and they were unlucky not to get double figures.
That weren't the game that was played at Bristol, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's some doing, that is. Yeah, fair play. But yeah, no, they deprived us. It wasn't him. Do you know what I mean? But I thought,
Well, it was him.
Yeah, it was him, but it was the ref, wasn't it? It was the donut ref. Because if it weren't for the, he done what he had to do, but the ref didn't do what he had to do. So, wasn't his fault, but it does. It's weird how it works. But I thought Holland done well to get to where they got to. I didn't think they were. I think Memphis Depay going off done England up. I think if he stays on, I think we win 3 or 4, because we were just going through him like a knife through butter then.
When we look at great England managers, and he's rightly taking a lot of credit, and he's changed people's perception of the England team to a great respect. He acts always with absolute dignity, which I'm a great lover of. But where does he stand when you look at England managers in the past? The Alf Ramseys, the Bobby Robsons, Terry Venables, if you like. I mean, Fabio Capello has got a better win record as England manager than Gareth Southgate. Where would you put him?
It's hard because it's timings. It's timings, and this is a good time. Good time. You go through the teams now. You go through Italy. They didn't have one world-class player. Not one world-class player. Italy, this is. Italy. Probably the goalie, world-class. Bar him, no one. Belgium, Kevin De Bruyne, one player. France, Mbappe, watching them now, and Saliba probably. So 2 players. Germany, Gundogan, Musiala would be top draw. Tony Cruz has been top draw.
Yeah.
So probably 3. What other top countries were there? Spain. You're looking at Spain now, but they're coming from, Yamal's going to be good. I don't think Nico Williams is as good as what everybody says he is.
But beforehand, you'd probably have only said Rodri, wouldn't you?
Well, Rodri. So you look like, when you're talking about Capello and you're talking about Bobby Robson and great managers like that, France had 7 or 8 world-class players. Italy had like 6 or 7 world-class players. Germany had 7 or 8. And I'm talking world-class players like that. If you went down the street, you'd still name Mateus, Lothar Mateus and Klinsmann. And, I don't think this German team and the Belgian team and the French team, I don't think you'll be naming these players in 20 years' time. And I think it's timings. I think he's at the right time. And we have got good players. We've got some of the top players in the world, in my opinion. So it's hard to say how great he's been because, again, when you qualified before, Jeff, you had Holland, Sweden, Norway, Holland, Sweden. You had some decent group games.
Yes.
When I played, now you can get Liechtenstein, Lithuania. I mean, there's another 400 countries since I stopped playing.
Yeah, Gibraltar.
Gibraltar, exactly. So there's a lot more winnable games. It's a lot more easy. It's different now. So I wouldn't put him in the bracket of Sir Bobby Robson and Capello, because I've seen them teams. I look at Brazil now. You look at Brazil's team. They've just gone out the Copa America. When England went out to Brazil, you had Ronaldinho and people like that. You had like the best players in the world. We ain't got them anymore. We've got most of them.
Yeah. Do you view him then as an elite manager? Because obviously, when he does eventually decide to leave the England job, then clubs will be looking at him. Would they look at him as an elite manager?
I don't think Gareth gets a club job. Personally, I think he's been in this too long. It's 100 games now?
Yeah.
100 games at international level, 3 times a year.
But if he wins this, surely clubs will look. I mean, managers don't grow. Top managers don't grow on trees. No managers grow on trees.
But I'm just thinking like top managers. He was at Middlesbrough. Managing 3 times a year for 2 weeks a year, 2 weeks at a time, is a lot different to day in, day out. And I know people say now, it's coaching. You don't have to manage the team. You're the coach. We'll sort all that out. But it ain't. The football hasn't been unbelievable, has it? If you're a top team now, if you're Man City and Pep Guardiola left tomorrow, you wouldn't take Gareth, would you? Not exactly. So that answers the question, doesn't it? Really?
Right. So not an elite manager in your view. International,
I'd have to say yeah because of what he's done, but I wouldn't say as a club manager. No, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't. If Man United didn't wait for him, did they? If he was that great, Man United would have waited for him. It would have been a prime example. Ten Hag, won the FA Cup. Anybody can win the FA Cup. To be fair, they beat Man City in the end, so fair play to them. But most of the time, the draw wins you the FA Cup more than anything. Because if you get Man City at home away in the third round next year, they're out already. So I would say an elite international manager, and that's what I think he might take if he wins it, he'll go to the World Cup. You've got to, because there's only in Argentina and maybe Colombia. We've seen that in the Copa America. It's not been good. So they're the only 2 teams outside this competition that could win the World Cup, in my opinion. So you go to the World Cup. So for me, if he doesn't win this, I don't know if he gets a club job, but he'll get another international job. Do you know what I mean? Where that will be, but it's not a bad gig. 3 times a year, go around, watch other teams play. And most of all the good foreign players now are playing in the Premier League. So it's not going to be a lot of travelling.
Copa America was interesting. It's the semi-finalists, 2 of them managed by ex-Leeds United managers, Jesse March and Marcelo Bielsa.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the Spanish game a little bit. And Gareth, again, he's talking about entitlement and saying we're not entitled to beat any of these sides. We're not entitled to beat Switzerland or Slovakia or Slovenia. I look at Spain and their lineup. They've got a 16-year-old schoolboy playing on one wing. They've got
a good 16-year-old schoolboy.
Yeah, an exceptional 16-year-old schoolboy.
Very.
But he is still a 16-year-old.
Yeah,
he'll be a 17-year-old schoolboy this weekend. They've got a centre-half who plays his football in Saudi. They have a striker in Morata who was seen as not good enough for Chelsea. They've got a full-back in Cucurella who's barely started half of the games he could have started for Chelsea. They got on the bench, probably, Joselu, Ayose Perez, a 38-year-old in Navas. Surely with our squad, we are entitled to beat the Spanish.
And Navas was unreal the other night. At 38 years of age, playing against allegedly the best player in the world of football, bar the first cross, never really got a kick. So amazing. You're missing one thing. They're a team. This is what the problem. You look at France, just a lorry load of individuals. Just a lorry load of individuals who want to do their own thing. This is a team. And this is why they are where they are. And that's why England are where they are. A bit of luck, but they're a team. We're hard to score against. And this is what it is. You don't have to be best player in the world. You've got to be able to be prepared to play in a team and work for a team. That's why Bellingham, I give him the highest respect. He works his socks off. Any kid watching, and we can go, Bellingham's this, and he's great, and this, and if you built a player, you built... The one thing everybody misses a trick with, he works his socks off for the team. He doesn't stop. He leaves everything on the pitch. He's gone at the end. He's got no legs left. And it's because he works his socks off. And that's the thing. Spain are a team. They haven't got the talent of France as an individual team, as individuals, but they will beat France every single week they play France. Every week. One, they're a team, and one, they're footballers. They're footballers. The other team are athletes and individuals.
But if we
got beat by these, it wouldn't be a shock.
Would it not?
Oh, no. I don't.
Do you genuinely believe we go in as underdogs?
Yeah. I don't look at us here. Every other game we've played, it would have been a shock if we'd have lost, in my opinion. I'd have been blown away. The Netherlands game, I'd have been shocked. Every team we've played so far, this is heads or tails. This goes either way. I see us either just winning this game, or we get destroyed. One or the other. I don't think Spain just win the game. I think if they get going and they get on top, they will destroy us because their movement's too good. But if we win, we'll win by the odd goal.
Does it in any way, because every game that we've played in so far, we've been favourites. Bookmakers have made us favourites every single game. Does it help in any way that now we are seen to be underdogs? I mean, you played in games where you've gone to matches, never won more so than when you went to Anfield with Arsenal, in 89, had to go and win by 2 goals against Liverpool. Does it help the mentality if you go into a game as underdogs?
Yeah, I think so. I do think so. I think the pressure's a lot less. I think that gets carried all round the pitch by everybody. I think even the fans accept that. When we went to Anfield, our fans were amazing anyway, but you had that expectation. Just give everything you got, leave everything on the pitch. I mean, you go to that one, we had to win two, but I go to Parma in the Cup Winners' Cup final. That was a phenomenal Parma team. We were big underdogs there. Again, the expectations of the fans is a lot different. And I think it'll be the same this weekend. I think this is the first game where the fans turn up. Of course, we want to win, but they'll stay with them because they're not expecting. I wouldn't say not expecting, but the fans will stay with the players for the whole match because they know this is a hard game. All the other games, every England fan, and me as well, have turned up expecting to win. And I have expected to win. This game's in the balance, and I think that's where the advantage is from the outside. You get that feeling that everybody's with you, and, the pressure's not as much. I think the pressure's on Spain. I think it is, because of the way they're playing. Everybody thinks Spain just turn up and they win, because England haven't played great. We had a 45 minutes against Holland. The next 45 minutes was atrocious. It was as bad as any of the other 45 minutes, if I've been honest.
It's interesting how roles have been reversed, because at the start of the tournament, there were no expectations of Spain. No. I think they went in as fifth favourites. They were 8 or 9 to 1. I don't think in their homeland anybody really expected them to do any better than probably quarterfinals. So it's a complete role reversal, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they've done. I didn't expect them. I didn't consider them Merse. No, I did not one bit. And you know what? I didn't think Yamal was going to be that good at 16. Nico Williams has had the tournament of his lifetime. He won't have another tournament like this. I don't care if he plays till he's 35. He won't. Morata, as you say, I still don't know what he does. If you can let me know what he does, I don't know what he does.
Well, he scores a few goals
every now and then. Not, he's not, he's not Harry Kane, is he? I mean, I'm not being, but he works hard. Like Harry, he works hard. I give him that. They had Rodri, but fair play to them. They've come through that group. They've come through their side of the group as well. They've had to play some big games. So, but the thing is, and I go back to it, they're footballers. And they're a team, and that's what's happened this time around. The game's changed to such it's athletes and pace and power and pace and power. And look what's happened. Spain have come in and they've gone, you know what, we're going to pass and move. People going about Yamal and Nico Williams well, but Yamal for 16, who's going to turn 17 now. His decision-making is unbelievable. It's breathtaking. It's breathtaking. Honestly, the goal's great, but his decision-making, his passing, when to pass at the right time, his way to pass. Honestly, I couldn't talk highly enough of the kid. I see these kids and I see people and they go past people and they'll beat people. This kid's got the lot. He's 16, he's got the 17, he's got the lot. The lot.
Is he the best sort of 16-17-year-old you've ever seen?
I would have to say so, yeah, I would. I judge people by tournaments. Play at your club, you're playing with top players, you're playing week in, week out. You come to the tournaments, you're playing against the creme de la creme, the best of the best. You're a right winger, you're playing against the best left back in that whole of that country. And then the next game, the best left back in that country. On a Saturday, playing in La Liga or playing in the Premier League, you're not playing against the best left back in the country. You might not even be playing against the top 10 left back in the league, let alone, he might not even be the best left back in his club. And he's turned up there at 16 years of age and he's doing what he's doing. Honestly, he's got to be. He's got to be. Now he's got to keep on doing it. But he'll be all right, and he will, because his decision-making is immense, and that's the difference. He doesn't have to rely. People keep on going at me, he's only got a left foot, but he makes the right decision, so it doesn't matter. You're better having a wand of 1 foot than being all right on 2 feet, because you won't get by with being all right on 2 feet.
He's got just the billion euro sellout clause.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, billion euros.
He might go Saudi Arabia then.
I mean, only you say it's not the same as a club level, but what about when you were playing? Can you think of any sort of 16, 17-year-olds you thought, wow, he's going to be the business? I suppose Wayne Rooney, of course, comes to mind.
Yeah, I would say Wayne Rooney. I would say Wayne Rooney. Wayne was a man at 16, though, wasn't he? Do you know what I mean? Without being, Wayne looks like he does now. He looked like that at 16, Wayne. He looked like a man. He had stubble. I remember watching him in the FA Youth Cup, and I was like, is he a ringer? But phenomenal player. Phenomenal player. But this kid, I was 16. I didn't see Messi enough at that age. I imagine he was. But this kid keeps his feet on the ground. He would be exceptional. I just can't believe how good he is.
I mean, I guess, Nicolas Anelka, you saw him being at a young age, didn't you? I know you loved him.
Oh, it was a great shout. I forgot about him as it goes, Jeff. That's how quick things, we discard things. When he first come to Arsenal, I thought he was going to be the next Ronaldo, the number 9 Ronaldo. I thought he was just unbelievable. It was mind-blowing. The things he was doing to Tony Adams and Steve Bold was just mind-blowing. He would leave them on their backsides in 1v1s and he'd go round Dave Seaman. Phenomenal. But I say he lived for potential. I mean, the lad had an unbelievable footballer career. People say to me, he didn't fulfil. I mean, played for the top clubs, won top trophies, phenomenal player. This kid at 16, just turned 17, has got the world at his feet. But this is where it becomes hard. It does become hard because he's done so much so quick. He's got to keep on doing it. And the easiest thing in the world is to get to the top. The hardest thing is to stay there. It is. In whatever sport, you can be boxing, running. Everybody wants to top you. And when you've got there, you've got that goal, and now you've got to stay there again. I remember coming out when I was in treatment, I said, I want to play for England again. And they went, whoa. I played for England again. Then when I played for England, it was like, all right, what do I do now? You've got to have goals, got to keep on having goals. And that's what he's got to do. But yeah, I love watching him play.
You mentioned, staying at that top level. And we've already touched on Harry Kane and we've touched on Wayne Rooney as well. And Wayne Rooney this week has described Harry Kane, and Gary Neville's agreed with him, as England's greatest ever player. What do you make of that?
Bar Harry Kane's mum and dad, I'm probably his biggest fan. I'm his biggest fan. I'm a massive fan of his. Massive fan. That's a big statement. I've been known to say some big statements, but I'm sorry, I can't have that as he's the greatest ever player. All right, you could say he's the top goal scorer, so we'll say he's the top goal scorer, so he becomes. But again, we're going back then to the countries we're playing against.
Who would you put ahead of him?
I put Wayne Rooney ahead of him. I put Gazza ahead of him. I put John Barnes ahead of him. I put Brian Robson ahead of him.
Beckham? Would you put Beckham ahead of him?
I would put Beckham ahead of him. I wasn't around in the era where you could probably name 5 or 6.
Well, obviously Bobby Charlton is the first one.
Yeah, and then Bobby you're going to go Bobby Moore.
Inevitably, so just 2
So
straight.
It's a big statement that, it's all right going up, but he's the top goal scorer. What about Alan Shearer?
Yeah.
Alan Shearer have an argument about that.
Yeah.
As again, it's eras. He's playing at a time when we've got the best players, and we had good players before, don't get me wrong. But as I go back to Germany and France and Brazil, they all had 5, 6, 7 world-class players. And I'm talking players like, if I walk down the street now with you and I stop people of a certain age and I said, name me the France team in 98 that won the World Cup, they'd name me it. Or they'd name me 7 players.
Yeah.
Because they're world-class players. But they wouldn't be able to name me 5 of the Argentina team that won the World Cup 2 years ago. Not a clue. They wouldn't be able to name me 5 of the Italy players that just won the tournament in England. But they'd probably be able to name you 5 or 6 that won the 1982 World Cup. And it's timings. So no, I'm Harry Kane's biggest fan, but you can't tell me he's the greatest ever player to play for England. Wow, that's a big statement.
Yeah, 66 goals in 97 appearances. And I'm not knocking Harry. 22 of those have been penalties, which just makes the ratio a bit less impressive. But he's been a wonderful player for England. But I would agree with you on this. I would definitely debate him being the greatest ever.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan. For me, I think he's the best centre-forward in the world. I do think he's the best centre-forward in the world. But we've had some good players, and this is what I talk about, short memories. 1990, Gazza was the best player in the world. He was the best player in the whole world. Harry Kane is the best centre-forward, not the best player in the world.
Right. There's another matchup I just want to mention as well, is Rodri we touched on, and Declan Rice. You feel that Declan has to step up a little?
Well, he's playing against the master. The apprentice against the master this weekend. Rodri's the best.
How far behind him would you say? Let's do a sliding scale of 100, and we'll say that Rodri's 100. Where would Declan Rice be?
87.
It's very precise.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want. I'm a Declan Rice fan, a big Declan Rice
me
fan.
too.
But Rodri's the best in the world in his position. He's the best in the world, and he does that. He scores big goals in big games. Scored the other, in the tournament, to get them back in the game. He scores big goals. Done it for Man City so many times. I think Rodri would find it hard playing for England. And I say that because we make the pitch so small. It's just mind-blowing. Second half against Holland, they suffocate the game. But we suffocate it. We got the back three on the halfway line. So they're on the halfway line. They're on their 18-yard box. You've got 20 players in one half. England need to spread the game, get the back three to drop off another 20 yards and bring them out and open the game up. But we don't. We squash it onto the halfway line. And Rodri would find it hard. And you watch Spain, they open the game up. They won't play on the halfway line. They play it and they'll pass it and then they'll find space. And that's what they do. They want to make the pitch as big as they can so they can get Yamal and Williams on the ball. England try and close the game up. And this
has that affected Declan, do you think, in
100%.
that sense?
Yeah, because Declan then can't, when he goes to show, there's nowhere for him to go. People going, I can't get on the half turn. He can't get on the half turn because it's so congested in there. And that's the thing. Spain play to their strengths. We don't really play to our strengths. We played to our strengths in the first 45 minutes, and that's why Foden was amazing. Yeah. Because we played to his strengths. We opened the game, we passed it quickly, we got it into him as many times as we can. But the second half, I blame the defenders. I think they got to drop another 20 yards. Make the game bigger. You watch Spain, they'll make the game as like it'll be like a polo pitch when they got the ball. When we got the ball, it looks like a pitch at Power League.
Do you think that Declan's got the potential to become as good as Rodri?
Not sure, and I only say that because Rodri could play one position. Declan Rice is probably better in the other position. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rodri's an old midfield player who's amazing. But Rice plays that position, but I think he's better further forward as one of the front, of the midfield three. On the left he plays because Odegaard plays on the right. Then he can burst forward. When he's got the ball at his feet, he's better than Rodri. Like bursting forward, he runs with it. Rodri won't run with it. Rodri, he's in charge of the orchestra. So I don't think he'll get to the Rodri level because he can play the other position better than what he can play that.
Who do you think's been our player of the tournament so far?
Oh, good question. I don't think Gay's done anything wrong. I think he's been outstanding. I think Mainoo's been very good. Mm-hmm. Again, a kid,
Yeah.
Give him a chance. I think if you're good enough, you're old enough. I think this is one thing we don't really do as a country, put kids in. I mean, he has done that, fair play, and that's what I like about Gareth. He don't mess about.
Saka a contender, do you think?
Done big moments, the goal, the penalty, done well for 45 minutes in the first half, in the game where we were poor. So he done all right. I don't think Stones has done anything wrong. I think he's just got along with his job. There's been no frills or spills, I think we go with Gay because Gay's had to do stuff. Do you know what I mean? And that's probably because his positional play is not as good as Stones' play.
And we didn't expect it from Gay, and we always expect it from Stones.
Yeah, and I think Stones just says what he does on the tin, and he does, and he reads the game very well. So I think he's done all right. Looking back now, they've all done all right. This is the thing with tournament football. We got to where we had to get to. It doesn't matter how you get there. You got to get there. You have. Switzerland can't play any better. They're all sitting on holiday now. We could play better and we're in the final.
Yeah. Would you take a gun at penalties?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Now, even the other night, I'm sitting there because it was getting a bit... For me, it looked like Holland were the only team who were going to win in the last 5 or 10 minutes because they were getting free kicks and getting the ball in the box. But I was sitting there thinking, just hold on, we'll win penalties. We'll win the penalties. I just couldn't believe how good the penalties were the other day. I'm so confident if it goes to penalties. I'd take penalties now.
I mean, there were brilliant penalties. It did make me smile when I saw the reports that England had a breathing expert in the camp who apparently wrote a bestseller which was called Breathe In, Breathe Out. I think subsequently he's got a book on walking. It's called Left Foot, Right Foot, and a book on eating. It's called Chew, Swallow, and so on. Have you ever heard anything like that? A breathing expert? Do you understand that it could be a benefit or not?
You know what? I think the big difference now when I watch the penalties to when I watched years ago, or even when I took them, when the whistle goes now, they stand still. They stand still. You watch penalties when we used to take them, the ref would blow the whistle and we'd run up as quick as we could and we'd hit it. Now, they blow the whistle, you watch, and they stay there for 3, 4, 5 seconds and get themselves ready. And I think that's been the game change. That's been the game change. And now I'm going to go home and write a book about it.
But the science around it, I mean, at one stage, when you take a penalty shootout, it was sort of a bit random, wasn't it? You know, who feels confident enough to take one?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Who feels confident? I remember playing in '93 in the FA Cup replay at Wembley. I was having a nightmare, Jeff, a nightmare. It's pouring a rain. It's 1-1, and I'm walking over to take a corner in the last minute, and all that's going through my head is 1, put this in the box, don't hit the first man, and 2, I've got to take a penalty in a minute, and I was playing that badly. I was petrified. And lucky enough, I threw it in and Chris Woods dropped the ball and Andy Lincoln scored. But it's all about confidence. It is. You know, it's all right. Like they were amazing the other night. But Gareth done well again because he put them on with more than 10, 20 seconds to go. He got them into the game. Even if they didn't touch the ball, they were still involved in the game. But it all comes down to the bottle. You know, even though I'm saying let's go to penalties now, it'll be different come what the final. It will be different, 100%. I think we got to win. It's massive advantage going first. Massive advantage.
Do you remember which number you were when you took penalties in that World Cup?
I'm going to go 3.
Okay. Because apparently the scientists have shown, or the analysts have shown, that the first penalty taker and the fourth penalty taker, they're the most significant ones. And that's why Cole Palmer, who doesn't miss, took the first. And that's, of course, why Ivan Toney, Ivan Toney, took the fourth.
You know what? I'm a great believer in. Don't leave your best penalty taker to last.
Yeah, he might not take one.
I was our penalty taker at Villa. I took mine last in the semi-final. We'd already beaten Bolton. I didn't even take one.
Yeah.
What for? Why would you wait to the end? Get your best penalty takers. I would go 1 and 3. I'm not saying I might have been 2. I don't know. But I would say 1 and 3. I think they're the important ones. You've got to win the toss. Got to go first. It's so important. You go first, the other players just playing catch up. It's horrible. You score first, then you got another they just take in their penalty just to stay in it. It's like serving. You play tennis, you serve first, hold your serve. They're just holding their serve just to stay where they are. So win the toss.
Made it all the more surprising, didn't it, when Ronaldo in Portugal's penalty shootout where they went out, he won the toss. And he chose to go second. And everybody in the world is thinking, chose to go second. And it's almost like he's just trying to be contrary.
You know why, though, do you? He took penalty last, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, cool. So he wins.
No, he took the first.
He took the first. Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's silly then. Why did he do that?
I've got no idea.
I don't think anybody
in the world of football knew why.
You've always got to go first. Because if you miss, it still gives the goalie an opportunity to save the last one. And that's the thing. You've always got to make sure they've always got to. You're always making them more, 90% of the time, you're making them win it. It's like tennis. Make them serve it out. It's like football. You know, you go first, they've got to score. You go second, you might not even get a chance.
I've got
to write a book.
If we lose against Spain, this is a worst case scenario. We all hope we win. If we lose against Spain, have we failed?
It all depends how good Spain are on the night. All depends how good Spain are on the night. If they're good, then I don't think we have. But if they're not and we get beat and we haven't been good, and then it will be. Because when this Spain, it's a team. You've got to remember, this Spain's a cycle. They haven't done nothing. Done nothing. And it's waited and waited. And this is what teams do. Spain, Germany, France. They do that. You know, us, we just keep on going the same all the time. You know, we talk about generations, but we keep on giving them a chance. Germany, Spain, France, didn't work. Off you go. Let's start again. Might take 3 tournaments, but we'll get there in the end. Us, we stay competitive in all the tournaments, but never win one. And that's why we haven't won anything since 1966, because we keep on going, next time. Germany, nope, start again. France, start again. Spain, they've started again, and they're in the final. They haven't done anything for ages. And this is the thing. That's what we got to do. And we have really. We got youngsters now. This is going to be around. We'll win the World Cup. We win the World Cup.
Will we win the European Championship first?
We just win the European Championships or we get well beat. And I say that. I do. We're either just win it or we could get destroyed. And I know that sounds silly, but if this Spain team gets going and we have a 45 minutes like we can have, it'll be all over.
And we've reached the end of football's greatest Euros. My thanks to Paul Merson and to you out there for joining us as well. Please leave a review if you can and follow us on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. One more thing. Come on, England! Football's Greatest Euros is a Folding Pocket production with BBC Studios.